Welcome back, church, to another teaching moment on what it means to be a house church. I hope if you have been watching all of these videos that you now feel like you have the building blocks of what it takes to become a house church. And I am so excited as we approach the beginning of our house church launch on June 14th. So the last big piece that we want to teach you about being a house church is about replication and invitation. And all of that begins with what's called missional DNA, which is a phrase that Alan Hirsch uses, and so does the entire book of Acts. Okay, it doesn't actually use that phrase, but it gets behind what the church was busy doing. The church, under pressure points in history, from stress, from persecution, has always been a point of explosive growth for the church. It has always been a point where the church invites, divides, and replicates itself. The church should be like a healthy living cell. And we believe that this house church model that we are living into for this season has the potential to become another one of those moments where the church sees explosive growth for the sake of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for the sake of Christ's kingdom here on earth. And all of that is really important because of this fact. As Pastor Daniel says, pre-corona, we are on the high side of happy. And what that means is that we have been a vital and a healthy church. And we have grown back to our most historic place of comfort, number-wise. And what we were watching before the pandemic hit was that we were already plateauing. And in the church world, or really in any industry, the moment you plateau, you either innovate and continue on a growth and health and vitality trajectory, or you begin the slow slope of decline again. And so what if, church? What if we took the opportunity that we have in this season of being a church of 50 house churches? What if we took this opportunity to see it as the potential to bust through the plateau of our high side of happy so that we might continue to grow in ways that Christ calls us to grow in, which means at times we might be a little uncomfortable, but I believe we will encounter Christ each and every step of this path if we choose to live this way. So here's a big question for you. Who grows the church? Is it the pastors or is it you? Well, you could pay us pastors a lot of money to spend that money on lots of fancy algorithms that are online, and we can help expand the reach of how many people see this video, and there's goodness in that. Yes, sure, of course. Or you could be invested deeply in relationship with real people. I bet you already have that. I bet you already have that with people outside of the church world. And you could invite them to come in for that space that you left for the neighbor in your house church to say, hey, come and experience what we are doing. And you know what we've seen over the course of church history, even pre-technology? It's that you build the church faster than any pastor can build the church. So, will you come alongside of us? And I promise, your pastors, we will do everything we can to help sustain and create resourcing and to encourage growth. But if we really want to see growth, it's going to be because the Holy Spirit works through you. So if you're ready to do it, the question you have to ask yourself is, who's missing? Who is the neighbor's face, the coworker, the actual neighbor, the person that you know in the community that needs to be invited to your house church. Once you identify them as a house church, would you welcome them? Would you extend an invitation to them to a place of hospitality? Because church, doing this work, we get back to the roots of the missional DNA that we find in the earliest days of the church in the book of Acts. And in doing that work, before we know it, we'll realize the work we've been doing this entire time is simply replicating and inviting. And through that work, we will continue to be committed to being deeply committed disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world, one life at a time. Thank you for joining me this evening, church. I cannot wait to see your house church replicated.